What's going on? You tube world. Steve. Vincenzo. Michael. Steve Vincenzo, I even said it. Nomenclature.
Good job.
Hooray.
You passed Latin 1.
Bingo. Oh, wait. We haven't been on the show long enough for bingo.
Heck, who was going to talk about Latin? That is bingo.
Amote, Vincenzo. Amote. That's Latin.
Sure. Took 4 years of it in my brain's tapioca. I can't remember a thing.
I took 4 years too. I just said I love you. I just said I love you, Vinny.
What'd you say? Say it again.
Amote.
Oh, Amote. Okay.
Or te amo.
Ti amo. It's because you said it. Yeah, you said it the other way. You
can
wrote
say
it instead of said it.
You can say it either or. It all means the same thing.
Potato. Patata.
Oh, namaste. Thanks, Yannick. Thanks. Interesting start to the show. So I'm going to go ahead and get rid of the elephant in the room. So for those who noticed the original...
You're going to drop me down?
No. The original placeholder. Unfortunately, our guest was unable to make it this evening. Dave also tried to get a few others. Unfortunately, they're a bunch of bitches. I'm going to say it. And I mean that with with all the love in the world. But no, hopefully we'll be able to rehash the subject at a later date.
Yep.
But yeah, our main guest outside of Michael, because the topic originally did apply to Michael, but the other guest that had confirmed was had to cancel at the last minute due to some issues, and I'll leave it at that. And for those who give a shit, and just because I'm a dick and Dave loves me so much, everybody needs to please wish Dave a happy birthday. Today is Dave's birthday. I know you love me, Dave. You knew that it was going to be said.
Well, that's what I was hoping. Vinny didn't say anything in the fucking text, and when he said that, I'm like, God damn it.
Yeah, well,
yep.
He put shit on a calendar. And like me, I should remember that because it's a day after our anniversary. So I should remember that, but I don't. So we celebrated 13 years yesterday. So
congrats.
So anyways, do what?
So glad to see that you're still here. That's what I say on my anniversary every year.
I don't know. I may be here physically, but I may not be here mentally.
No, it's been. Ugh.
Now we got Yannick speaking French.
Merci beaucoup.
Is that your only French phrase that you have, Dave?
I believe so. That's what I'm going to go with. So I have the same birthday, or I share the same birthday with a super famous 80s baseball player.
Gary Carter. Playing days?
Close. I mean, if it was somebody else, I know we'd have a different viewer probably every week, but we don't. But his, I learned, is June 15th from watching several videos. Played third base, I think, for a couple popular teams out east. And then one down his last year, I think, was in Tampa. The one that's June 15th. I learned that, so it's pretty cool.
I'm
no,
lost.
A former Minnesotan, that one you shouldn't be. But the one that I do share it with is a former Minnesota Gopher. Played for the Brewers.
Robin
Played.
Yount.
I knew that was going to be the. Because if you listen to the fucking goddamn hints, Toronto Blue Jays, and I think we finished out with the Twins.
Joe Carter.
It's an even worse guess. I mean,
John Elway.
and you're 3 for 3. I mean, you're going backwards. I mean,
Sergei Fedorov.
close.
I'm pulling a Dave. Throwing out
Wow.
random names and shit.
You gotta go deeper into the hat, though. I mean, those are your fingers are just tickling the inside with some of those names.
Well, since I'm the only one who's bothering to guess, nobody else is bothering to add any substance to the conversation. So
Well,
I
hey,
might as
that's
well ask and just throw out random fucking names.
what I did in Chicago. That's how. Where Vinny was getting very upset. Couple times looking back, David. As soon as he turned around, bam! Another name comes out, and Hall of Fame, 3,000 hits. Born in born in St. Paul.
Paul Molitor.
There you go. I was gonna say how many more do you? It's not the morning, but it's the afternoon and evening. Are his initials. So yes, Paul Molitor. And a former Kansas City Royal pitcher prospect in the early, I think mid 90s. I think early, because he came up, I think, with them in the 92 or 3, and he stuck around for I don't know a few years anyway. I mean, this is going to be like the deep pull. I don't know where the fuck he's from. He wasn't from America because he has a goofball name, but I don't know if down Dominican or.
Yeah, I'll pass on that one. I'm not even going to try. You're
Part
on.
of his first name is a body part.
Armpit.
And part of it, that way you pronounced it was like that, but then the part of his second name, the first part, is what he did or what position he played.
By the way, you're on mute, Michael, if you're talking. I know you were talking about the spinning stuff. I saw your
Yeah. I forgot I was on mute. Yeah, when Dave was giving the descriptions of whoever that was, it was spinning out on me. All I heard was Kansas City Royal pitcher, and then that was it.
A prospect like in the early 90s, I think he came up in 93.
Wait.
That I remember cards for, maybe 93 or 94.
No clue.
first name is a body part.
Well, part of the first name has the body part in there, and then
Okay, so Armando something.
Well, I said Armando Benitez, but I was on mute, but that wasn't right.
no, then his last name has part of his position in it. And again, I think he was around for a few years. I mean, he might have been through till the end of the decade,
Yeah.
but not somebody that was obviously worth a shit. Not he didn't pan out the way obviously Kansas City had hoped. So
you collected him at a point?
Yeah.
how do you know?
Day.
How do you know? One of the rare that I didn't, because I don't remember him having much of anything for inserts or anything. A lot of probably parallels, some artist proofs or some museum collections or some
Game
French
cards.
some French upper deck young guns. Hippolito Pichardo.
I remember that name.
Yeah, I wouldn't have been not anywhere close.
But those are the two players I think that share the birthday. I know Molitor does. I'm pretty sure in Pichardo because I'm like I won't remember him for that reason if it wasn't. So, and I've not bothered to check anybody in the last 10 years or so.
I don't know if I have if I'm related to any athlete or have a birthday with athletes, but I share one with Jennifer Aniston, and I always thought that was nice.
I can't beat that.
Yeah. You mentioned Milwaukee. You're the Milwaukee Brave.
That card has been on several IGs, not just yours.
Oh, yeah?
Tyler had it as the card of the day.
I did see that. It sent me a notification for that. It's awesome. I've actually gotten 3 of those over the years, and I'm always happy when it happens.
And I think did RBI Crew 7 repost it on their story?
I have no idea.
No, I haven't seen that.
This card, it just looks like liquid.
Mm-hmm.
It's
That blue
so
is
pretty.
fancy.
It's so deep. Yeah, I love that card. It made me want to go look at other players in the set. But then I found myself thinking, well, I want to get one unique card of a whole bunch of different players, but I don't necessarily want them all from the same set. I want some variety, but I do have a feeling there will be other people from this set I will be picking up. I have a Madison Bumgarner that was gifted to me from the set, and it's awesome. But there's some pretty cool Hall of Famers in there. If Dale Murphy is one I'd like to have in blue, because that would look beautiful because his signature is insane.
Back when people actually gave a shit about what their autograph looked like.
Yep.
Somebody who listened to Harmon Killebrew.
If someone even knew who Harmon Killebrew was.
Mm-hmm.
All your vintage card collectors know. But
They are the
spit it out.
They are not, spit it out, Junior. They are not the current voice. Voice?
Voice.
Voice.
What was that?
The voice of our hobby, even though in the community they seem to be, in the overall hobbysphere, they don't seem to be as vocal, but
Because
like
it's not.
Watch the games, fellas. Watch the games. Whether it's today, yesterday, or in the wonders of the past, watch the games. It'd be amazing what you learn. Like Mac Jones isn't that good. Watch a game.
Yeah. And it's terrible.
He's not that good. You guys got guys like Terry Bradshaw and Joe Montana who are like completely forgotten and arguably the second and third best quarterbacks ever. With the
agree with Montana. I will disagree on Bradshaw.
Yeah, that's debatable. It's all debatable.
It's debatable. I could see where people could say, but I always feel that Terry got a bad rap. But Terry had a good team.
He had the best defense of all time.
Yeah, Terry had these two guys called John Stallworth and Lynn Swan that Terry could throw a really bad pass, and somehow those two guys would come down with it.
Good and did.
Yeah,
ad nauseum.
It's. But those Brady and those two, those guys get no.
I can't believe how little Joe Montana gets. It's crazy how cheap his cards are.
And I've heard stories. I've heard from people who have met him that he is an absolute douche nozzle.
Oh yeah.
And then other people said he's the greatest guy. He's like, you either get one or the other. And I heard it from someone really close to me that he was not very friendly. And then other people said he was the greatest guy in the world. It's like, what Joe you got? So
I hear the same thing about George Brett. Some people say the best experience they've had meeting somebody, and others will tell you he's a giant asshole.
It's all dependent on situation and circumstance.
Very much
Right.
so.
Yeah. When you approach them, what were they doing?
Yeah.
Exactly. Were you interrupting them while they were eating dinner?
That's a big one that I think that when they're out in public and they're with their family, it's like when I saw Mario out at the mall, I'm like, hi. And he kind of just looked at me. I was like, I know you're busy with your family. Just saying you're the best hockey player. Been collecting your cards for years. Have a wonderful day. And he said, thank you. And I walked away. I walked away and I'm like, humming. Because I'd taken a bus over to the mall to buy some clothes for work in college. And sure enough, there he was. And that was like the closest I ever got to him, other than seeing him play a couple times at the Civic Arena. So,
like I said, it's all about situation and circumstance. You know, if you're going to bother somebody when they're out in public eating, wait until they're done at least.
yeah.
You know, it's if you put yourself in their shoes, if you were somebody famous and you were there at dinner with your family and or friends, it doesn't matter. What times during that outing would you be most pissed off if you got interrupted for an autograph? And if you would be pissed off, that's probably the wrong time to go ask for an autograph. So it's put that into perspective, you know.
Well, nowadays these people they don't even just want an autograph; they want pictures, and
or multiple cards autographed. It's not one and done. It's like they want multiple.
Yeah.
You know, people have said Deion Sanders is an asshole. I didn't have any issues. And he was there getting food for his family at the Subway I was working at temporarily.
Yeah.
So I didn't feel as bad because the other person who was working asked first. And then, you know, it's like, okay, well, she asked, now I'll go ahead and ask. But he got his order placed and, you know, then we asked.
Was it Phil Squeepa that paid to get an autographed ball of Deion Sanders at the National? I can't remember who it was. Somebody had a story, and they got Deion Sanders to sign a baseball. He signed the ball, never looked up at the person. He never looked up, signed the ball, and then rolled it across the table to the person, his handler next to him. Never looked up at the person paying for the signature or anything. But yeah, signed the ball and then rolled it.
That's pretty bad.
That'd be a bit off-putting. Because it wasn't a free signing.
Yeah.
Well, and that's ultimately what we're saying though, too. It's like these people they're people just like us. They just happen to be really good at a sport. And it's timing. I mean, it really boils down to timing. And
I want to go to a signing where George Brett's there, and I want him to inscribe a baseball, "Don't eat the crab legs." Because that is one of my favorite stories of all time.
Can't say I know that one, Michael. Can't say I know that one.
Oh, you need to go find that video on YouTube.
I'll have to go do a search.
Yeah. It's him talking to some players at spring training. It's pretty incredible.
I'll have to go watch that. So I can be up to snuff.
with your 80s baseball icons.
Shut up, Dave.
You know, it's a family show.
Says only you.
Huh.
If that's the case, then I want inserted bleeps every time you use a profanity if it's a family show.
To the best of my recollection, I haven't used any.
Not yet.
So the episode will sound like Morse code.
Yeah.
Probably.
Depends on the subject matter. And how bad of a day Dave had and continues to have, for that matter.
Yeah, this is true.
Are you actually saying that we're going to see the softer side of Dave this evening?
No.
Just thought I'd ask. Guess I'll get that out of the way. So yeah, I with the subject matter changing, I actually, somewhat came prepped, but since the subject changed, kind of last minute, I'm struggling to remember what I even said way back when, even though I didn't technically set any goals.
Oh God, I don't remember much of anything. I wanted to get more jerseys for the NBA, and that really, I've looked, but there's been nothing that's been super exciting. And then with Naomi and her pitching stuff like every week, that's like 125 just for Thursday. So
Yeah, that doesn't include the gas either.
no, that's with the gas, and then some
Oh,
with food, it's even more. So usually I just make sandwiches, and I'm like, I want to go to Popeyes, I want to go here, there, I want to go everywhere, but I'm like, you're already getting a trip down to the cities. Yeah, we're not going around shopping everywhere, but I don't want to go shopping everywhere. We're getting some pretty first-rate lessons, and then you get to go to sleep while I get to drive. So
sounds like my experience with Vinny.
Hey, I was up more that trip than any trip I've ever been on. I would doze off. This weekend was bad because I was getting like 3 hours of sleep. By the time we got home, I got everything settled in. It's like 2:00 in the morning. We talked on Saturday night, and we were out the door at 8:30. So I'm like zombified because I'm waking up in the middle of the night now at like 3, and I'm up till like 6:30. Then I pass out, and before I know it, I got to be downstairs on a call for work. So I'm like I feel better over the last week than I have since I got home from the National, because I thought I got the dreaded C19 because I had all the symptoms. The Simpsons? The Simpsons? Yeah, Uncle Abe or Grandpa Abe. Anyhow, that first week after Steve left, I was hurting. And into that second week, I was hurting because I had to set up for 2 soccer matches for the guys, and I was just whooped. And this week, I finally feel good, but now I'm not sleeping. So it's like, if it rains, it pours, as they say.
So
I got some.
I started taking that shit 2 weeks before leaving, and then I took it when Dave busted out the The packet shit. I've been taking it since I've been home. That vitamin C boost, man. Works wonders.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, there's that, and then what was it? I had something else too. It wasn't Dayquil. I still haven't taken a lot of shit out of the bags. That's the stuff I hate doing more than anything is unpacking. It's the fucking worst.
I don't think I unpacked my backpack yet.
I took some stuff out, but that's about it. I still have like a lot of the. Oh, we grabbed a couple, I think 2 or 3 of those like totes, the eBay totes, and those are still sitting in there. And fruit snacks are still in there, and a couple bottles of Gatorade are on the bottom. And oh fuck!
We are a lively crew this evening.
I know.
It's been a,
Well,
rough 2 days this week.
I
don't know about you guys, but today here the heat index was 126.
I was about to say, you guys are fucking dealing with weather that's like obscene, and I don't even want to tell you what the temperature is up here, because I might have 3 people jumping out of their screens into mine to beat the shit out of me.
Yeah, it's so crazy. The humidity is so high because the temperatures, I mean, they're hot, don't get me wrong, but like 95 to 98. But the heat index is, like I said, today it was either 116 or 118. And I think tomorrow or Thursday it's supposed to be more than that because we're supposed to be 100 and 103 the next 2 days. It's been awful. Wake up and walk outside and you're just instantly wet.
Yep. That was Saturday, Sunday, and yesterday. Today it's down to 70 right now, which is beautiful.
Yeah.
Now tomorrow it's supposed to pop up to 85 with 100% humidity, and then
I'll
95.
I'll still trade you.
Yeah, you're probably 152 degrees.
I mean,
it's on a sidewalk.
It's coming up at 8:30, and it's still 95, but it feels like it's 102.
It is currently 89, feels like 112 here.
Good God.
Yeah, y'all's humidity over there.
Over the last I've never experienced it that big of a discrepancy. It's a very strange week because I'm used to 100 degrees and I'm used to 110 degrees heat index, but typically you don't have a difference of 20 and 30 between what it feels like and what it actually is.
No.
Well, you got to be up in 85% humidity, though.
Yeah, it's disgusting. Yeah,
we haven't gotten that high.
And
tomorrow's 99, Thursday 101, Friday 101. I'm going to get up and go to a card show Saturday morning.
First chance of rain that we've had in the forecast Monday night, and it's still a low chance.
Yeah, we have a chance Sunday of 0.33 inches.
But yeah, that's...
Yeah. Yeah, well, I mean, yeah, in Texas, you guys have had, about 60 consecutive days of 100 plus?
No, it hasn't been that high because we actually had a slight break. What was it, last week?
Yeah.
Where highs were in the low to mid 90s, and in the morning it was actually like
manageable,
upper 60s with the breeze. I mean, it was pleasant in the morning. It still got hot, but there was no humidity, so the temperature was exactly what it said it was. and with the breeze, it was pleasant. But like we haven't had a summer like this since like 2011. So the joys of an Energy Star house, my electric bill is not horrible.
Yeah, our electric bill was only $107 last month.
Okay, mine was a little bit higher than that, but and we keep it at 74 here.
We keep it on at 68.
Yeah, that would freeze my coils here.
74 would lead to assault and attempted murder.
That now you know why I was so excitable and thrilled to come back to the room, because you'd walk in and be like, "Man, it's hot outside. Who opened that door? Wow, it's hot inside. Wow, what a fucking treat." Yeah, I mean, I'm trying to turn it down to like 40 degrees just to have some. Like, come on, somewhere. Just go over to their room and be like, "I'm going to sit in here and just like lay down." That's all I need to do. I don't need to do anything. Just you go in there.
Yeah, we didn't have that problem next door.
No. Our high temperature today, I bet you, didn't hit 70. And I mean, it's been like dreary, rainy, misty, like a early October, late October type day, which I would take that for summertime weather every time. I don't mind the heat to a degree. What degree that is, it's near triple digits. But like, you can't sleep. If I can't fucking sleep, I mean, it doesn't matter. The humidity, we had a few of those in like June that was just fucking brutal, up to like mid 90s, 80-90% humidity, and you guys say you go outside and it's just, you better have like 3 changes of shirts, because you're gonna fucking go through them within 10 minutes of being out there.
Yeah, and that's usually we're between 15 and 30% humidity, which still adds substantial temperature fluctuations as it pertains to what it feels like. Houston, on the other hand, they have anywhere between 80% and 100%, and it's still in the 100 degrees, and it is beyond miserable. I mean, you actually like you feel it, like it's almost like it's difficult to breathe.
Which gets me, because they're the most obese city in the country, and it's like, well, why would you be the fattest city if you can't breathe there as is? And now you throw in the weather. I mean, so you're gonna see some of those people that were at like the National trying to walk around, and the meat wagon's gonna be fucking breaking down because suspension's gonna be toast.
Well, that's why I said I felt like I was at home, both at the convention center and in Chicago while we were there. It's like I feel like I never left home.
Yeah, it's 84% humidity here right now.
Yeah, that's rough.
Yeah.
I know Cardboard Underground has been dealing with the same stuff, because he'll shoot me messages from time to time. He's like, "Have you reached, real feel of 120 yet?" And I was like, I don't think we will. I think the hottest we've got, at least here, and I'm not speaking officially at DFW because I don't live near DFW, so therefore that's what is captured in the record books and everything else.
Yep.
Yeah.
But the hottest we've gotten as it pertains to heat index was 117, and that's still fucking hot.
Yeah,
it's atrocious. It's pretty bad when you actually have to start your car and let it cool off for like 15 minutes before you even get in it.
Mm-hmm.
And even then, you look at the temperature gauge in your car and it's still registering like 122.
we weren't that bad, but Sunday it was. So we got there her game was at 11. I literally got out of the car 10 minutes. I ran that freaking air condition like till I got out to try to keep the car as cool as possible. I got out. They played 70 minutes. They're up to 35 minutes half. Sometimes it'll be 35 minutes. Sometimes it'll be 40. Usually it's 45 in the Major League Soccer or Premier League or whatever. I went in there. As soon as that game was over, I walked 50 feet to the car, got in, turned it on. The temperature set 103 inside the car. I could imagine, because it was on turf at a football field, C had to been dying on that turf because she's back here in goal. You're not moving a ton. And then when you move, you got to move.
Mhm.
And
Yep.
yeah, she got MVP of the game from the opposing team. You basically voted for their MVP and they voted for your MVP. So she got it was the Powerade tournament. So she got the blue Powerade bottle. 2-2 draw, 11 out of 13 for saves. She'd have needed to been to Tenda and the Zimbabwean Jet to get the one that went top corner. She jumped, and she was just under it. But now she's in 11v11 goals, so it's way bigger than last year.
Mhm.
And the other one, basically, she shifted all to the right side, made the save, was getting up, and someone blasted in the rebound. She slid over her arm out, and that ball was like right there. She almost got a fingertip on it. But, goalies can only save the game. They can't win the game. I thought that was a poignant term that I saw on Instagram by, I forget which goalie, Iker Cassius, who was one of the better ones in the past 20 years. So, and not one parent said a word. They all said, "Good job, C." I about fell over. I said, "What is this?" I don't know how to react to this. Her teammates, good job. And then the one time they said something, a ball was going out, she dove and grabbed it. And they were like, let it go. And the coach is like, no, you want the ball in hand to punt. She punts the ball, drops it in front of the striker. The striker hauls butt down the field, pops it in on the goalie. C gets an assist on 11v11 field off a 60-yard punt. That was impressive.
Yeah, even if there's a question of the ball going out of bounds, you don't want to freaking corner kick.
No.
If there's any doubt, any question,
and
you freaking grab the ball.
Some of these girls now, last year it just duffed. These girls now put that ball in play, and you could head it. And the one they scored C on, she made the stop, and then, like I said, they got the rebound on her because there was 3 girls that crashed that net and kept kicking at the ball. It's in front of the net at this age with those kicks. It's away, because it's no keeper because the keeper can't get it. There's just too many bodies.
Mhm.
It's got to be somebody else has got to get it away. I learned that terminology too. I finally figured out the difference between why they say away. That's because the keeper can't get it. So they're telling you get the ball away because I can't get to it.
Yep, clear.
I'm covered.
Yep, clear.
Yeah. So I learned something every day about this sport, and I think that's why I love it so much now. I used to hate it.
And it doesn't matter what you have to do to clear it.
Yep.
Like at that point in time, you'll, in those situations, suffer another corner kick if you have to.
Yeah.
It just, it's
when you have defense.
When you have that much traffic in front of the net, it doesn't matter how good your goalie is or how good your defense is, for that matter. You run the risk of shit happening. in front of the net. It's just like in hockey,
Yeah.
if you think about it.
Her defense works hard for her. They got some things to brush up on, but man, are they good. I give every one of them girls credit. They played their butts off all weekend. All weekend. They played as a team. They never got down. When they were down, they tried to fight back. Except we ran into a team from Canada, and good God almighty. I think that one girl was as tall as I was. And they're 11, 12 years old. So, well, yeah, between C's a late birthday. So we're talking, 12 roughly. So it's like, I was like, holy mackerel. Then all the dads were like 6'4", 6'5", all hockey beer league guys. And I'm like looking over at them. And then we had a French Canadian in there, and he was using colorful French Canadian words. And I was laughing at him, and everybody's looking at me because I understand what he's saying. Thanks, Yannick. It's like you learn a few things after a while. Plus, my buddy at work was French Canadian or spoke French Canadian, so I've heard all the colorful lingo over the past 20 years.
I've got an auction ending in a minute. Something shiny and pretty. Hopefully I'll win it. It's already a little higher than I thought it would be.
Thank you for the recall, Michael.
What's that?
I said thank you. It reminded me I have a possible Christmas present going off here in a moment.
I set a timer 3.5 hours ago for this one because I didn't want to miss it.
I'm waiting for the latest Greg Morris auction to go off. I think it goes off Sunday at like 1:00 in the morning, which is the last couple have been going off at like 9 or 10, but this one I have a feeling is early morning.
And I had a card make it through eBay's authentication process today, so it should be on its way to me tomorrow. They already put a tracking number with it.
Hopefully you win it, Michael.
I'm hoping. It's at 11 seconds right now.
Bid. 4 seconds left.
Oh, I did not win.
That sucks.
I already bid $25 higher than what I wanted to and still didn't win it. So,
damn.
Oh well. It wasn't a must-have. It was just it's actually a card I used to own. And I would have liked to have had it back.
Details.
Oh, Jesus. Well, that doesn't make any sense. I lost it by a significant amount of money. My high bid was $125, and it went for $314.
What the fuck was it?
It wasn't something that should have went for $314.
No, it was something that I was shocked was going to go for the $125 I was bidding. It's numbered out of 15. It's Lawrence Taylor autograph. It's a really nice card, but those typically
not $300 and something dollars.
No, that card usually doesn't even hit triple digits.
No, I just said it's like an $80 card tops.
Yeah, and I even bid $125 just because I wanted it back. Well, that doesn't make any sense, and that's really going to mess up the next one that comes up for sale.
Yep.
I'm not going to own one of these for a couple years now.
Give it a few months.
That's wild.
Give it a few months.
That was comical. I would be shocked if it got paid for because that had to be an oops.
That is nice.
Here's the thing. It was a freebie in a auction I won.
Really?
Seriously?
Because it's like a recycled card on recycled stock or whatever. And again, I was like, it looks legit because I mean the card I won.
Those are nice. I got one of those this year.
Again, that's the only reason I really went after it because it's 100. I'm like, but I saw that and I'm like,
Did that say event worn?
let me see. No, you're it. I can see why you saw it.
Hello.
Oh, an eventual Hall of Fame.
Hey,
Okay.
what's up?
You're not on mute, Vinny.
Cool.
He is now.
And then this thing came certified. I had to sign for it. And again, I'm like, it's to 251. A McGillney stick out of private stock, but I'm like, that was an under $10 purchase. I'm like, why am I signing for this?
Somebody freaking paid
Way
a
too much.
bit for shipping. That's Purdy. That is definitely Purdy.
That is.
The other one was Purdier, but that one's still nice.
I love the guy. Man, that's some of the old qualms you have with some of these cards. And why we say Stadium Club looks so nice, because you get this for like a player's card. He's not even the fucking player in the foreground.
Right.
I'm like, because that's what I've been on, a little Lindros kick. And again, that's one of the guys I know I've said before too. It's like you go back to what, 92, 93, or no, 91, 92. Was that? Because that would have been, I know, it would have been 92-3, the French Pinnacle. Where Lindros was in his like Team Canada jersey, and that thing was a fairly decent card back then. And you saw anything Lindros, it was just like Shaq. I mean, that was like, you had a run of like prospects and number one type picks that were game changers then. You had your Griffey, David Robinson, Shaq, Brian Taylor, even though I don't think he was number one overall. He was like a top 5 pick, top 7 pick. Weber the next year. Which I'm disappointed he wasn't with him a little longer. That would have been, as much as, again, that's my favorite Vancouver jersey. Still a goal to get either his or Bure's with that black and then the big Canuck and like the orange and yellow, the black. If you would have been with the Sabres and the old school Sabre uniform on there, that would have been awesome. But just looking at like the Lindros stuff, I'm like, Shaq is still high. I still can't get that beam team. That's one of the eventual kid cards that I want to hammer out. I didn't have the luck like Sir Robert. I think he pulled that out of a pack way back in the day.
I think he pulled both of them.
So
He's got two or three.
The Golden Horseshoe. I knew one of my brother's friends, his dad collected fucking hardcore back then and pulled it. So I got to see that. But I mean, that it's never went down. I mean, it's not like, hey, you can get it for like $20 now. It's still $100 card, probably anytime it's in half-ass good condition. So it's like Lindros. I look at that, I'm like, yeah, he still had a great career, having a glass jaw or glass head every time he got hit. That didn't help, but I mean, the only stuff I care about is the Flyers, and I don't even have to go through when he was off the Flyers, which I don't know when that ended. It was like 2000, 99, 2000, 2000, 2001. I don't even, some of that stuff I don't even care about. This can be a guy, if I pick stuff up, it's stuff I like, and that's it. I don't have to sit there and be like a completionist and, I need to get this, this, and this. It's all stuff that, if I get it, I get it. If I don't, I didn't really want it. So that's why I showed Vinny one today. I'm debating on whether to go after it. It's one of the more bold autos from that time period. A lot of them are faded, and I actually won a different one earlier in the day, which I didn't think the offer would be accepted because it was about $30 less than what the auction or the price for it was. So, but like a lot of that stuff, it's just, we like to collect for money, in the sense that, hey, down the road, whenever that time comes and the collection goes away, it's going to be worth something to somebody. You can get somebody can get something for it, and if you're leaving them with like Topps 91 mini sets, I'm like, you're going to have somebody pissing and shitting on your grave probably every day until they can't piss and shit in your grave. So that's the thing. It's like, okay, this Lindros stuff, again, depending on what comes of it, because it's like, it's stuff that's fun. Brodeur, again, still picking his stuff up, but there hasn't been a lot that's been eye-appealing. And it's not like, oh man, I don't want to pick anything up as that douchebag at the National, but at the same time, it's like, if nobody has anything that really appeals to me, I may as well
look elsewhere.
Yeah, and I've been looking at Lindros, and I've been looking at like The Simpsons. And, I love The Simpsons. There's a bunch of stuff up there from like '93 and I think 2000. I don't give a shit. Ed showed stuff from that Big Smooth the other day. I didn't fucking know there's a handyman card. I'm like, okay, so I'm sitting there and searching on goddamn eBay for Damon Wayans as a handyman from In Living Color. I can just hear that voice in my head. And I'm laughing. I'm like, that's not bad. I mean, and then I said, oh man, like Corky from Life Goes On. Does he have a card? I'd love to get that. I mean, it's stupid stuff like that where you have to, at some point, because again, the hobby is fun, but at some point you gotta be like, I just want to fucking get some stupid shit that I like. There's a monetary value. I don't care if I buy it and I buy it at its top end, if it loses every ounce of like value the next day, I still like it. So
yeah, in situations like that, the value is irrelevant.
Yeah.
It always goes back to what we've always said. Like what you like. It has nothing to do with value. We don't need to hear you pounding top loaders, Vinny.
Yeah, we do.
Does that look supposed to mean something?
Speaking of Brian Trottier,
I was gonna say that's what year upper deck?
this would be 10-11. They got this on ComC for like $300 or $400. And I was like, well, if that's the going rate, I'm never going to own one. And this was in a Greg Morris auction or a Savage auction. And it ended up being like $30, number to 25. Because they got in a Hall of Fame the same year.
See the finger? See the finger?
Yeah. And Trottier, when we got him for the Penguins, I was so gassed. I was so happy because I knew how good he was with the Islanders. And then he came over and he's another leader, and he was in the twilight of his career, and he still played like an animal. So that one's
and Michael's watching some random video.
I was watching a random video, but it was sports related. It was football.
Just it was kind of funny because I heard because we could hear.
Vinny,
trying to find another acetate goodness in here. This is all the stuff that I picked up this year, I think. Maybe the tail end of last year.
Yeah, my pickups are a lot less than that.
This is
My hyper focus has somewhat stayed true to form.
these out of Black Diamond. Love this freaking card.
yeah, I like those ring cards.
This one's out of 11, 12 Black Diamond. Just so solid. I'm trying to. I will pop some top loaders. Huh, Dryden? We will pop some top loaders. Here's another acetate one. That's out of this year's ice.
Nice.
So it's like so I thought that was pretty. It's like a little mini card next to a puck. It's like those old things where you used to get the card and put them next to the puck.
Like a display type deal.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So that one. Just trying to find acetate. Hi, Dryden. Where's some acetate? Couldn't believe I didn't have a copy of this. These are like $10 a piece. This is just the base out of ice for that year, which is 14-15 ice. And I know I had another one in here. Alex, he quit tracing Dryden. He's old and he doesn't need to be bothered, much like me. Apparently, I like that other card twice because I got another one. I've never done that.
Never.
Never. I swore there was another cool acetate card in here. There it is. Now that's a look.
The happy with me.
He looks delighted at that on that picture. This is 16-17 ice. Not the most flattering of looks, but those are some acetate stuff. And here's one for you. That's a solid one. That's a metal card out of Synergy. That's the Cast for Greatness out of 22-23 Synergy, which is, I was telling Jeff Morris, he was still around that day. That looks a lot like the Year of Invincible that he made back in the day for Pacific. So that's the design for 22-23 Synergy. And you can go ahead and make me small, and I'll find the other one because I think it's in here, the Pacific. How, like Jeff was saying, everything is a recycled. Here it is. So there's the.
Yep.
How close is
This will
that?
be quick. The pup just got out of the bath.
A little pop.
Oh, pup.
She is wet and not happy. Oh, Bobby.
Go crazy.
Now I am all wet.
With dog hair all over your hands and stuff too, I'm sure.
No, actually good. I was a little surprised. It's all on the bottom of the tub right now.
Yeah, I don't think I'll be picking my dog up, even though one of them lets me, the other one not so much. What are you looking at? Yeah, I'm talking about you.
The way the bed is now, I got an elevator riding up at night. The other night he surprised me. He took a shot and he jumped right in. So it's not the fact that he can't do it. It's just the angle. He hates it. He's afraid that he's going to lose leverage and land on his head. And he's going to be 13. So lucky for me, he's got this puppy that's chasing him around right now. And Galaxy's about to get hip checked here in about 30 seconds. Flying. Because Galaxy thinks he weighs 70 pounds and he weighs 21. And Dryden's 60. So this should be interesting. Plus, they don't know where their mom is. So they're zooming it throughout the world. That's nice.
That's some
So that's the black variation.
$2.99. Yeah, there's been some interesting cards. So no, like the first pack again had like a bunch of Yoshidas. Wish this was at least Tristan Sauce instead of like Bobby Dahlback. Again, the shimmer does not. I don't remember pulling those.
No, because that's the bluish foil board.
And that numbering is a different serial or the different style on that one than the usual serial numbering that we're used to. Because if you look at like I think the Ortiz, no, it's another one that looks different too. Like it just doesn't look the same as what I believe we're accustomed to.
Good question, Dave. Good question.
Hopefully there's a redemption.
So those just all are those like
I think
gravity or something?
gravity
Gravity.
feed. So like regular, I mean it's the regular. You did well for your team, Vinny.
Who is that? Is that Torque?
No.
I cannot see. Focus. Focus.
Yeah, it doesn't want to focus very well.
No, it doesn't. Just keeps grabbing your beard. Carry something. Carry Carpenter.
Oh, he's pretty good. Yeah. I think him and Torkelson hit back-to-back home runs last night.
Yeah, Torkelson's been doing well.
Hey, he's got 23 home runs and 69 RBIs in his sophomore season. That ain't a bad ball player. Now he isn't
His average is about 245, but still.
it's if you could finish the season with 40 more games, have 100 RBIs and 300 or 100 RBIs and 30 home runs, you're a good ball player. I don't care. Everybody wants these ridiculous stats. These other guys that played in the 80s and 90s, They were ball players. They might have hit 270, but they won games for people.
Yeah.
Well, you don't have your Tony Gwynns, your 300 ball average, 320s.
No.
Those are anomalies. Just because you're not the creme de la creme, it's like in hockey. Steven Stamkos, Patrick Kane, everybody forgets how good these guys are because all they concentrate on is McJesus, Draisaitl, and that's it. That's all you hear about. And now Ovi because he's closing in on Gretzky's record. That's it. But there's so many hockey players that are so freaking good. I mean, you don't have to. In today's game, it's different than the 90s. In the 90s, you had to score the 100 and some points to be considered ridiculous. You got your Stevens and your Talkets that did it every year. And you don't hear anything about those guys.
But you're also putting things into the hobby mindset too, because the hobby only cares about Ovi and McDavid and those guys.
Well, the hobby's stupid. And I'll say it again. It's like, as Michael would say, collecting fat men on the line. Those guys go to the Hall of Fame too. You know, running backs used to be important.
Well, and they still are to a degree for a lot of teams.
I mean, people, our hobby is just hyper focused on 5 guys a sport, and that's it.
Well,
Quarterbacks.
That's about it. Yeah.
It's
7 in basketball, and who's going to be the next big thing. Don't worry about the next big thing. Just worry about who's playing good.
But remember, though, that's also, if you really put things into perspective, that's still somewhat a small subset of the collecting hobby sphere as a generality.
Yeah.
Because as collectors, most of us, yes, we have an appreciation of LeBron and Jordan and Kobe and, you know, some of these guys. We have an appreciation for what they did for the sport.
Mm-hmm.
Are we going to shy away from owning like a rookie card of them? Absolutely not, because they are a superstar caliber. But the people with the fundage and those that have are speaking as the collective, as in your influencers, are too hyper focused.
But then you go on like Instagram, and there's a lady on there that's a Shanahan collector. Shanahan was a Hall of Fame player, played many years on many teams, and won a lot of Stanley Cups, and is just bloody good. And people collect him. It's in hockey. You find all these niche people. Like there's a Marty Turco collector out there that I follow on there, and he's got some banger Turco cards. So for some reason, like hockey, more than I hear for any other sport, there's guys that collect
the second, third, and fourth tier guys.
Years, and they'll spend the money for them.
Mm-hmm.
They'll pay up for the. I'm trying to think of a third tier guy.
Sergei Zubov.
Yeah, people will buy. Look at Bure collectors. Bure's a Hall of Famer, but it's Pavel Bure. He's not at the high echelon of the top 20 players of all times, statistics wise, but he's there.
No, everybody cares about
Trouty.
Which I don't remember us pulling any of those either.
I pulled a couple.
Okay.
Where's my
And this guy too. Again, you can't see Oscar Colas, who's supposed to be big for the Sox this year. This guy, again, there's a lot of guys I haven't even realized. Okay,
Yeah, these I mean came out of my hangers, but so
I didn't realize how good this guy was doing this year for the
Yandy
Astros.
Diaz is having a season.
Because I watched on Peacock on Sunday for about an hour. I watched they were playing Seattle. I'm like, okay, I'll watch Julio Rodriguez for a little bit and see what's going on. And of course, I turned the game off, and I think it was 1-0 or 2-0, and then they scored. I think 4 more. Houston scored 5, I think, in the bottom of the third. So I'm like, oh, good, I missed a healthy amount of runs. And but yeah, just looking at stats like of that guy, he has like 17, 18 homers. A rookie or a second-year guy, 270 average, pitch framer, solid defense. It's like, good lord. Like this for Jeff too. Yeah,
I collect him too, Jeff. He's been my favorite Red Wing. When he left, I was heartbroken. Now he's in Montreal of all places. I was one of the first cards I got when I got back in the hobby. I was at Meyer, and I said, I'm going to buy some packs of cards. And I bought maybe 4 packs of Upper Deck. I think he was in Series 2. And I pulled Tyler Bertuzzi in there, and I was just happy as a lark. When I first got back in, those were the kind of things that were just, it's not a huge hit. It's just a young gun, but it's just, oh yeah, he's in Toronto, not Montreal. I'm thinking of Dan Petrie's son went to Penguins to Montreal to Red Wings. I got my Canadian teams confused. But here's a guy, he's going to make $5.56 million. And I've talked about Tyler Bertuzzi before, the kind of crap he got while he was here at the beginning of the season because he couldn't travel because he didn't get the thing to go to Canada, and they gave him all kinds of crap. And then he came out to shoot with a hot trick, and everybody was like, "Oh, Tyler Bertuzzi, he's so great." I'm like, that's not what you were saying 2 days ago. And he's gritty. He played good in the playoffs for Boston, really good. So I think he might be on the uptick. #invest. Actually, wait 6 months so I can get the rest of the cards I want for him, then #invest. I got his clear cut. I got 2 of his clear cut autos, and they're just gorgeous.
So Dave, did almost every pack have something that you opened?
well, I mean, I don't know how many rookies I got here.
I wasn't talking about your rookies. I was talking about like the foils and.
I won't say every pack. I got 2 of the Chrome stars of the MLB. That Christopher Morel for the Cubs. He had a walk off the other night that he fucking zoomed around. I think it was 18 seconds they clocked him at. I mean, he fucking shedding clothing as he went. And Trey Turner, I got the Dunning and the Dahlback blue shimmer to $9.99. I showed the Mitch Keller foil board. The black Ortiz 88 tops all-star to whatever that was, what, $2.99. Then I got 2 of the blues, which I think that's got to be what, the Target exclusive, like the dark,
Or the Walmart exclusive.
Yeah, it'd be Walmart.
Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday. Oi, cha cha cha. Happy birthday, dear Dave. Happy birthday to you. Cha cha cha. That's a lot of head bang. Where's the pasta at? I need.
Thank you, C. Yeah, the first 2 packs though I opened. The Yoshida again. Plus another Yoshida rookie. And then the Mookie Betts
Oh,
pick your day or whatever it is.
Home run challenge thing.
Yeah, that's it. I don't know how many rookies. I think whatever rookies that are big. The Colosso that was supposed to be big. Him, another Josh Young. I got 4 packs left. I'm going to do that for a video, make #content. So,
Well, because
and then Francisco Alvarez, the catcher for the Mets, who's got like 25, 26 home runs or 23, somewhere in there. He's got a obscene amount.
Did you see Bobby Witt's inside the park home run the other day?
I haven't, and I heard about it though. I'm like, oh, I gotta see
14-7.
because he's a guy I've got for fantasy in a couple leagues, and
He
I will
has
not
been
talk about
absolutely on fire for the last month. He's hitting like it's an absurd number. He's hitting like 420 or 430.
him and what's his name, Julio the last week or two. Holy,
Well, Julio set a record. He had 17 hits in 4 games.
yeah, the first time four hit games since some dude in like 25.
Yeah,
Milt something I saw, and I'm like, the only Milt I remember is Milt Kyler for the Tigers back in like the early 90s.
right.
So anytime you tie or break a record, and you look at the last time it was tied or broken was 1925. Really, that's something worthy. I mean, unless it's a pitcher that gives up 8 home runs in a game or something.
Yeah. Bobby's numbers going into tonight, he's got his average up to 281. He has 25 homers, 80 RBIs, and 37 stolen bases.
Which
And he's
Talking? Who we talking?
Bobby
Bobby
Witt.
Witt Jr.
What's his name too? Lou Bob. Lou Bob's hitting pretty good this year, and nobody's talking anything. It's Ohtani.
Everybody already lost all their money on him. They don't want to talk about him anymore.
Wonder if
No,
he hits 300 for the next 10 years and 40 home runs and goes to the Hall of Fame.
Yep.
But
Yeah.
that's the other thing. People sit there and they dog about people collecting some of these rookies, whether it be Bobby Witt, whether it be Guerrero, whether it be, Soto, all these kids, and they go into a slump like every fucking MLB player does. And
Mhm.
it's like everybody is like flipping their shit. And baseball is the only sport that I can ever think of to where you have a kid who comes out like De La Cruz, for instance, transcendent upon, like nobody in their right mind would have ever thought that this kid would have ever like been like this good.
Mhm.
Next year, he could have a shitty season. And all of a sudden, it's like, Ellie who? But yet, in the scheme of things, if you're paying attention to the games and not just looking at stats,
Right.
because stats can be deceiving.
Yeah, every 0 for 4 is not the same.
No,
Correct.
Oh, you were facing Nolan Ryan last night.
Yeah.
So it's not just that. It's runners in scoring position. It's it's all of that. It's the sack flies that are crucial of getting a run across late in a game. You got to look at the entire aspect of the player. If you're just looking at stats, then it's very easy for people to sit there and be like, oh, well, this kid is freaking doing great. But yet when you look at the entire body of work, he's like 2 for 32 with runners in scoring position, but yet he has 30 home runs, but they're all solo shots.
Yeah.
And of those 30 home runs, they've lost like 22 of those games. So where's the collectability in that sense? But because they're looking at strictly home runs, RBIs, that type of shit, it's like nobody bothers to look at the full body of work. And that's why everybody always says, watch the fucking games. You can learn a lot by stats, but watch the game.
Andy Van Slyke played in 1,658 games over 13 seasons. He batted .274 lifetime, 1,562 for 55,711 with 835 runs, 293 doubles. That's a lot of doubles.
Yeah.
91 triples, 164 home runs, 792 RBIs, 245 stolen bases, 667 walks, 1,063 strikeouts. That's a lot. And an on-base percentage of .349 and slugging of .443. All that being said, name another guy other than Ken Griffey Jr. in center field that could track down a ball like Mr. Van Slyke could. I'll wait. Because other than growing up, other than Griffey Jr. and Van Slyke, they patrolled that outfield like nobody's business. Van Slyke had a cannon in a foot arm, and he batted third on a team that was probably one of the best Pirate teams to not win a World Series. You had him batting third, Bonilla batting fourth, and Bonds batting fifth. Throw in Jay Bell, Don Slott, occasionally Mike LaValliere, Chico Lean,
Jeff King.
Big Green,
Jeff King.
I was waiting to say Andrew Jones.
Yeah. Right.
But a little later on for Andrew, if we're talking like mid to late 80s, then early 90s.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Andrew Jones was he's in another category.
See, I remember Puckett making plays, but it was more of a running catch. It wasn't like, hey, I'm tracking it down gap to gap. I don't remember much of that.
No.
And when I think Andrew Jones, I think of him like 95 up. With Van Slyke, it was like 90 to like 95.
Mm-hmm.
And then Griffey Jr. was just always the kid, Yeah,
if you go back to like our teenage years or just before teenage years.
It was like when I was – oh, go ahead, Dave.
If you go after it, you go, Andrew Jones, Jimmy Edmonds. I mean, those are the
Love Jim Edmonds.
Tim Salmon was good in the outfield.
Yeah.
Kenny Lofton.
Kenny Lofton.
Bo Jackson.
He was right field.
It doesn't matter.
Yeah. He could have played everywhere.
You're starting going into the outfield in general.
Yeah.
I saw
Like,
something where
he could have played anywhere.
Yeah.
He shot one from deep center to home plate, and I was just like, "There's nobody throws like that."
Because I was going to say, if you mention Andrew Jones, you have to mention right field for the Le Montreal Expos, number 27.
Yep. Body.
His arm, and he didn't have to set up like you teach people. I mean, he just rifle it. There's one up in I don't even know what the hell the Montreal Stadium, when he's over near that corner and he just pipes it home, one hop, short hop, and I mean, by 2 feet, 3 feet, he got the guy. And I'm like, that I think that was either first or second year, and I think okay, if the league isn't on notice now, I'll go my guy. He had a pretty decent arm. Number 53 for the Phillies. I mean, he had a dearth of assists.
As did Ichiro.
I was going to say, and then 01, there was another one. Remember him in Oakland, and I think Wednesday night or Sunday night baseball. I think Wednesday night. And I mean, that thing was a P to third, and he was out. He was out by a car length. We're using NASCAR terminology to, man, he was gone, and I was like, you don't run on him.
No.
That was noticed then too. So
Back to the Pirates, there's a highlight of one of the throws that Jose Guillen made
I was gonna say he's
from right
another.
field. That guy had
Bernie
a
Williams.
pocket.
I forgot all about Bernie Williams.
No.
Bernie Williams was a heck of a outfielder.
Yeah.
Mookie,
And we're not even talking. And the
Mookie
sad
Betts.
thing is if you have all these cards, these particular gentlemen that we're speaking of, in volume and in decent cards, you could probably make as much money over time selling those than you would flipping 3 of the whoever, because you bought them so cheap and now they're in the Hall of Fame and you you bought them for 5 and now they're worth 30 or 40, hashtag invest. Thank you, Steve. It just I buy a Joe Burrow's card at 5,500 and I flip it for 5,800.
Yeah.
The $300 dinner you just ate takes up all that money.
Mm-hmm.
Well, see, that's the difference, though. When you got to buy early for any of these guys, anyways.
Well, you can't even do that now.
Well, I was going to say they make it impossible now because
For some,
everybody
you're right.
prospects it.
Yeah, for some, you're absolutely right.
Especially
Quarterbacks are never going to be cheap if they're first rounders.
Yep.
You're not going to get deals on them. And in baseball, I mean, they start pumping out cards of them when they're 17, 18 years old, and people are paying thousands of dollars for them before they've had a minor league at bat, let alone major league.
Basically, you have to play what should have happened with Ohtani.
Great call with Dave Winfield.
Oh yeah.
Yep. But
Ohtani stuff tanked.
Yeah.
That would have been the perfect opportunity to buy. Bobby Witt stuff went down last year. Buy all it. If you believe in somebody, buy the dip.
well, it's not even that. It's buying consistent.
Yeah.
Because you can buy base rookies and rookie parallels and that type of stuff for a dime a dozen in a lot of sense. Unless you're going for the big cards, numbered to 5, numbered to 25, autographs, low numbered, 101s, that type of shit. Yeah, you run a risk. But even just because they produce thousands upon thousands upon thousands of base rookie cards and or parallels or inserts, rookie year inserts, there's still potential money to be had because not everybody can afford spending $1,000, $1,500, $10,000 on a fucking card.
No.
Most run-of-the-mill collectors don't have that kind of fundage. People who are running a business, who run a profitable business, have opportunities to be able to do things like that. Most run-of-the-mill people don't.
Mm-hmm.
So, if there's a young kid that you're high on, let's say Bobby Witt, and tops chrome, refractors, some of the numbered parallels that are reasonably priced. If you're wanting to acquire a substantial quantity, there's nothing wrong with it. Because, yeah, you may spend a couple $100. If he amounts to shit long term, you're only out a couple $100.
Mm-hmm.
But if things go well and he has a Hall of Fame career, which is always possible because you don't ever know, you could be plus $300 or $400 in the scheme of things.
Easy.
If you're looking at it from a monetary perspective. But at the end of the day, it doesn't fucking matter. Collect what you like, collect what you enjoy, and it doesn't matter what people say or think of what you're socking your money in. Guess what? It's your fucking money. Because, not that I ever had it happen to me, but collecting Terrell Davis for as long as what I have, a lot of people always said, well, he'll never make the Hall of Fame. He'll never make the Hall of Fame. Why? It's not about value. It's not about he's still collectible from a player perspective. He won 2 Super Bowls. He's the reason they won 2 Super Bowls. And he was a hell of a running back. And not to mention the fucking backstory of the fact of, being a late pick, getting a chance to be the starting running back only because of what he did in the preseason, and playing with migraines. Like, his story is phenomenal. And my argument was, at some point he's going to get a nod. And the reason he's going to get the nod is because of his playoff career. His playoff numbers are off the fucking charts.
Mm-hmm.
And I don't give a shit about the number of years he played. Gale Sayers.
Jim Brown. Yeah,
Jim
but
Brown.
Numbers, but yeah.
But end of conversation.
Mm-hmm.
He got in on his playoff numbers in the scheme of things. That's ultimately what got him in. But I didn't collect him because of expecting him to just shoot through the fucking roof. That's not why I did it. If that was the case, I would have stuck with like Elway. Tried and true quarterback and everything else. But we were talking about earlier about quarterbacks not getting a lot of love. Elway's another one. From his values perspective, they're minuscule. And he's won 2 Super Bowls.
Mm-hmm.
Dan Marino, one of the greatest of ever. No championships. He gets no fucking love. Unless it's like super low numbered freaking multicolored patch autos and shit like that. Then, of course, it gets a little bit of love. But it still doesn't get the love of a Burrow, a Herbert, a freaking
Mahomes.
Brady, Mahomes, and
Josh Allen.
Well, and Peyton Manning's in the same category. That guy's autograph is cheap.
considering 100%. 100%.
Yeah.
When you're looking at the overall like quarterbacks, the top 10 quarterbacks of all time, and I'm not talking current players, folks. I'm not talking Herbert, Burrow, the guys that everybody's thinking. The top 10 of all time, most of those guys, they get no hobby love. And they are criminally undervalued. And it's a shame, to be honest. But it's good from a collector's perspective because things are still reasonable for a lot of collectors if they want to go after some of those guys like that. But at some point, people are going to stop listening to the influencers of the world and realize that there is a lot of opportunity with a lot of great players, not just quarterback specific,
Mm-hmm.
that are criminally undervalued. And the right time to buy is now, because the longer you wait, the more chance that you have to miss out on those opportunities. We've been saying it for years.
And on that note, I'm going to check out for the evening.
Because you don't want to hear us talk about Brett Favre or Rodgers or how cheap they are.
Their markets are very interesting right now.
That's the right word.
It's very interesting because I feel like I'm almost dealing with during the times with COVID where stuff that I would think would sell for a lot of money is going way cheaper than I thought. And then stuff that I didn't think much of is gone for substantially more. And yeah, it's weird, but I'm happy with what I'm buying right now. I've gotten very lucky that there's a guy out there on eBay that about every week or every other week are putting out like 20, 30, 40 Brett Favre autographs at a time on auction. And it's cool old stuff that I love. And I've gotten multiple at really good prices.
I never understood that. Sort of like the stuff that Vinny has for that Greg Morris and all the Lemieux, like the real nice stuff, putting it all up in one big.
Yeah, and they end like 35, 40 seconds apart from one another. It's like, well, the people, if they miss out on this, they don't have time to get the next one, maybe.
Nope.
Yeah.
So I was
Which, hey,
two
fine,
minutes and
fine by me. I've the very first Brett Favre card that I bought to get one back in my collection. It was back in October of last year. Sold for nearly $200 less than the card that sold like 15, 20 seconds ahead of it. And this was a far nicer card. And it's like they cost themselves money by stacking them like that.
Yep.
But hey, whatever. It allows me to hone in on one or two of them and make sure I win one.
yeah,
Unlike the Lawrence Taylor tonight.
That was a
That-
fluke.
That one just baffles me.
that's
I
not
thought,
even.
for sure I was going to win that card and I'd be able to show it off next week.
Yeah.
That's a fluke.
Yeah.
But those happen too. I mean,
Yeah. Well, I mean, it's an insanely gorgeous card. There's only 15 of them. I just don't see where 300 comes into it unless somebody that was the one they needed for their set. Because one of those hasn't popped up in probably 2 or 3 years. So I don't know. But anyway, I'm going to call it a
can't win them
night.
all.
I will talk to you all later.
Have a good one, Michael.
You too. Take it easy.
Later, Michael.
Later.
And the second, Jeff's point, Dave Parker, the Cobra, is one of the most underrated players not in the Hall of Fame. Hit like just punish the ball, could throw like a son of a gun. Bless you. 2 batting titles, I think. He's
Couple.
had an all-star 8 or 9 times, if not more.
2 world titles at least.
Yeah. It's like, come on. Don't do him dirty and wait till he's dead to put him in the Hall of Fame. Come on. The guy's he's either got Alzheimer's or Parkinson's, and he's degrading quick. Let him bask in the glory of where he belongs. There's other people way non-deserving that are been put in as compared to him. So
Harold Bain.
Yeah.
I say nothing.
Happens in both football and baseball. Happens
Yeah.
all the time.
Oh, he was
So-
good, but he's dead. Well, we'll put him in now.
That's the way the process works, unfortunately, when it comes to some of that stuff. You know, the only ones that, you know, as you sit there and you see things and you hear about nominees and I'm speaking more for football because, you know, baseball, there's still players that should have been first ballot Hall of Famers, but because of steroids, of course, they're, you know, still questionable. You know, on the football side, there are always those players that are first ballot Hall of Famers that it's almost laughable if they don't freaking get in, you know, as a first ballot.
Mm-hmm.
It does happen. It does happen. But, you know, there's still a lot of players out there that deserve to get the nod and haven't gotten the nod. Randy Gradishar comes to mind first and foremost. And yes, that's Being a fan of the Broncos, of course, that still freaking chaps my ass. But, Shanahan's another one. Like, Shanahan didn't get in this go round. I'm surprised. Shanahan took him to 2 Super Bowls. I mean, so, and I'm speaking just from the Broncos' perspective, but I mean, there are a lot of others out there that just you just kind of scratch your head.
I wish there was a Hall of Very Good, because there's a lot of deserving people of that too.
Well, and those are the players, though, that a lot of collectors kind of go towards, though. Though, yes, you got your Hall of Famers, but a lot of people collect the Hall of Very Good, no matter the sport.
Yeah, because Kevin Stevens,
That's the one.
oh, is he good? And so was Rick Tocchet. And they're not in the Hall. And they played so long, and they were, plus all their achievements after, especially with Tocchet, all the coaching. Like you say, watch the games, watch the players, follow them.
Well, and it also makes you wonder if it's time that they kind of look for opportunities to revamp some of the requirements. Maybe what applies for the vast majority to get in may not apply to those others that are deserving because they don't meet enough criteria, let's say.
Well, you got to go era by era.
Yeah.
You can sit there and be like, well, this quarterback in the 30s or in the 40s, well, he doesn't have fucking 40,000, 50,000 passing yards. He only has 12,000 or whatever the case may be. But it's a completely different era.
Yep, different game.
Yeah.
Completely different game.
And you can't look at, like hockey, you cannot look at the Yager, Lemieux, Gretzky eras the same as you do today. Goaltending has tremendously changed the game.
Well,
And-
yeah, all the padding and the fucking. You look at the guys in the 80s and the early 90s, everything is so fucking different than your equipment. You don't look like you've got 3 sets of home plate umpire gear on.
Yeah. You look at like Ken Reagan back in the day, the minimalist kind of stuff. And he was a pretty good goalie for his generation. He was a decent backup goalie behind Barrasso. I don't know if he was there for the second Stanley Cup, but I know he won one. I can't remember if he was there for the other one. But people forget about people like Hextall.
Mm-hmm.
How good Ron Hextall was back in the day. And you're not facing the you have a team like the Penguins back in the Red Wings, the Penguins 90 through 94, the Red Wings 95 through 97, the Avalanche between 95 and 96. Do you know the people that were on those teams? You have just Hall of Famer after Hall of Famer after Hall of Very. Your fourth line guys were just solid as all get out. It's just different. It boggles my mind. And I think that's why I like hockey so much, because somebody could be a Jake Gensel collector. They could be a Tyler Bertuzzi collector. There's all these people up and down the starting 20 people for the team that somebody out there collects them.
Mm-hmm.
And the sad thing is people don't realize there's money to be had from the #invest standpoint, that each one of those guys, sometimes they'll go for a good chunk of money. If it's like a cup card, somebody obscure, they still command a decent price. And then other times it's 4 o'clock in the morning and you can snipe it for $3. And the last one sold for 60. It's just, it's just the way it is, as Tupac would say.
Timing is everything.
It is.
And
I've
that's why
lost.
well, and that's why I've sat there and said, as a previous power seller on eBay, when it came to football, all my auctions ended on a Sunday night.
Yep.
At least 8 o'clock Central Time, because that was 6 p.m. Pacific, 9 o'clock Eastern, still in normal hours. People still watching football games because they were still on. Timing is everything. So it's those who don't put things into perspective and they list shit at that stuff that ends at 1 o'clock in the morning on the Eastern time zone. Yes, they may still get a decent payday, but they're missing out on opportunities to get an even bigger payday.
There's like during the week, what was it yesterday? 15-16 Upper Deck Premier. So that's McDavid rookie year. All the number cards people want to try to make sets. Lemieux's in there. It's numbered to $2.99, $1.50. Any other time, it's $8 to $10. So those are the ones that, during the day, you kind of take advantage of those things. There's another one. It's the 3,500 0102 SP Authentic, $2.06 shipped. Okay, there's 3,500 of them. The problem with them, it has white borders, and to find one crisp is hard to do. So, we talk about all these different things. You got to think of the sets. Like Alico 3 says, you could go through a set and that card is in those team sets. It's pressed up against the back of the box. So it's hard to get one that's not surface damage or whatever. Each set has different quirks of center, off center, quality control issues with like chrome, roller marks, yada yada, Q&A problems with Prism. To find good copies of cards is another thing. You always want that pristine kind of good looking card, even though it's raw. I kind of still want to find the best looking copy to say, yep, that's the one I maybe grade one day. Because try to open a box of 15-16 Ultimate Collection. I could just imagine what that runs.
A ton.
Yeah,
And
you should have opened that in 15-16.
Yeah, even then it was a ton because people were hyped on McDavid.
Well, and that's but at the same time, better to pay $300 than try and come up with 3,000 or 4,000, whatever the price difference is. But
let's see here. So, do you want to take the over or the under? There's 2 boxes that are buy it now. Over or under $1,000?
over.
David?
Yeah, gotta be.
So here's one of them. Ultimate Collection from DA Card World, $1,430.95. Here's another one, same box, $26.99. So you're $1,500 to $2,700 for a box of that. So nobody's going to be opening those anytime soon if they have them. Or if
Well,
they do, that's a heck of a roll of a dice to try to get.
that's the thing. It's,
Well, like I said, they were probably $300, close to it at time of release.
Yeah.
So
And those RPAs for him, I've seen so many fake reproductions.
yeah.
McDavid's rookie year patch autos or patch cards, memorabilia, anything. Like my buddy said, dude, isn't McDavid good? And I'm like, yeah, he's real good. He goes, that card shop at the mall has 2 of them in there. They want $150 a piece. I went in there with Meredith and she looked at me and I looked at her. She goes, those have to be the most fake things. But man, I want to tell you, you looked them over and you were like, that's a heck of a fake. But then
when was that though?
What?
When was that?
That was 2 years ago.
Okay, so prime COVID years, the rash of reprints
Yeah.
that hit the market during that time because everything was through the fucking roof.
Yeah. And you're thinking you're getting a deal somehow. Well, this guy must be selling them off because he needs the money. And they're as fake can be. Because I'm looking at the patches. I'm like, there is no way that both of those have banger patches like they do, 3 colors, and one of them had part of the oil symbol. I'm like,
Yeah, those
something fishy.
Well, and we talked about reprints or facsimiles in the past. As long as somebody is listing it as such, fucking go for it. If people want to spend the money on a fake card, fine. The issue I have are those people who are buying facsimiles and trying to find a way to run them off as originals.
mhm.
Like rock
A lot-
autos.
Like rock autos.
Vinny went there.
Yes, he did. See, I should have gone back and looked at the auto and been like, does it look like this? Does it look
Kind
like
of
this?
does.
But that's legit because I know it is because I was fucking standing there when the guy signed it. Now, would it pass authentication? Who fucking knows? But I was standing there. And that's the one thing also when it comes to authentication. Like, depending on situation and circumstance, because I always go back to like Terrell Davis stuff. When it comes to cards, he has 3 autos. He's got the old shit, the old auto from like the 95 stuff from when he was with Georgia or drafted from Georgia. He's got the one that he has now, which most have the 30 inscription. And then he has the same one without the 30 inscription. But then he also has some slight deviations with some that are like a little bit wider, bigger of a T. And then you have those in-person autos that you can kind of tell that he was kind of in a hurry and they look like fucking garbage. Now, I don't know for sure if those are legit. I've seen enough of them to where it's like I could probably say it's possible.
Mm-hmm.
But at the same time, how are authenticators the resident expert on whether or not something's legit or not? Because we all know that fakes can slip through. There are look at the guy who ended up going to prison or whatever it was for all the fake autographs. Like there are people out there that have enough skill set to where they can fake them and they can pass them through. So there's no surefire way for in-person autographs to be fully authentic. You're taking somebody else's word for it. Yes, they may be the expert, but why are they the expert? Who gave them that designation? What are the qualifications? Just throwing that out there.
Well, that's the thing. If you're not like that section of the hobby, and it's not for like a couple of years. I'm talking, it for decades. You're either an old timer and you're trying to like teach these folks, these younger kids, like, hey, this Mickey Mantle, this isn't obviously not a fake or a real auto, since he's one of the most forged guys, him and Jordan. You can't be somebody that comes in the last couple of years without any training, without any tutoring, and starts saying, well, yeah, that rock's not the same as like this one. Well, again, that rock is probably a lot different than what he's got on his cards now. I guess that's an auto that was over 20 years ago, well over 20, 25 maybe. So it's gonna look different. You're not gonna most of the time, even if you sign a check, our autographs or whatever don't look the same either. I try to keep mine the same way, but there's a lot of times when it doesn't look the same. Signing somebody in at the store, checking in like a Pepsi load or a Coke load or Frito-Lay, Doritos, or Frito-Lay or Old Dutch or whoever the case may be. FedEx drops off a package. My signature is different there than it is at the credit union.
Yep.
So, yeah, if you...
Signature should be similar.
Yes.
Regardless of what it is. They should be similar. Unless there's a complete and utter deviation and change in the signature. Which, from an athlete perspective, that happens.
Mm-hmm.
But as an authenticator, as I said, what makes you an expert in authenticating an autograph?
And that's the thing.
Have you 1,000 autographs, 10,000 autographs? Like, what makes you the end all be all of saying whether or not something legit? Because I'm sure, I'm not speaking for myself, but I'm sure there are people that have gotten cards autographed in person in front of somebody and could have like video proof or picture proof, and it still fails authentication.
Mm-hmm.
So, and then there's other times in which something that is fake slips through. Bottom line is we take the word of these authentication places as the end all be all, whether it be legit or not. But nobody is, maybe somebody has, but at the same time, like, I don't get shit authenticated, so it doesn't matter to me. But at the end of the day, it's like, if I'm somebody who specializes in autographs, and that's my focal point from a collection perspective, why wouldn't you be asking the questions? Well, why are you the authority in authenticating an autograph? What's your qualifications? Why should I take your word for it that it's fake or not?
Yeah,
because as a hobby collective, we just take their word for it.
It's like the blind faith.
I mean, I get it. These companies have reputations, and I'm not trying to take away from it. These companies have been around for a long time. They've been doing it for years. Yes, do they make mistakes? Absolutely, because everything is subjective, regardless. Whether it be grading, whether it be authenticating an autograph, it's still subjective.
Hmm.
They're looking for certain qualifications, certain things within an autograph that would normally indicate that it's a legit autograph. But like I said, there are people out there that are really good at faking signatures.
Hmm.
It takes practice, but people can do it. So it's one of those. It's like that double-edged sword. It's it's a tough situation, and it's no different with cards though too. Not all cards are signed in front of a Topps or a Panini or an Upper Deck representative. Yes, they put their little stamp on it that says, they guarantee the autograph. Well, you can slap a guarantee on a box of shit and call it guaranteed, and you get where I'm going with this. But unless they're physically sitting there watching them sign these, there's technically no guarantee.
Oh, God damn it. I want to know. Where's Bob? He might know the quote because, again, I'm thinking Tommy Boy.
That's where I was going with that.
Something about, like, what was it? Something about telling the cow.
Get a good look at a T-bone by looking up at the
But you're
butcher's
gonna take
ass or whatever.
but you're going to take your butcher's word for it or something like that.
Yep.
So yeah, you trust in the people that supposedly have quote unquote everyone's best interest in mind.
Well, it's like I said, it's nobody wants to talk about it's we all want to believe that what somebody is doing as a service is correct. We all have accepted the fact that mistakes can happen, but at the same time, wouldn't anybody be interested to see the number, the percentage error rate for grading a card, whether it be misgraded or it really wasn't altered or it was mislabeled or if it was an autograph was authenticated when in fact it wasn't. Like they don't provide that information. Like me personally, if I'm putting all my faith in a company that they're the end all be all, why wouldn't you want to know what the percentage error is that as a whole? Personally, I don't care. Yes, am I going to grade some shit? Absolutely. And no, I'm not going to ask the questions. But, using your term, blind faith, why wouldn't they convey that information?
Again, especially if you want to you want to generate as much revenue and you want to be as reputable of a hobby resource as you can be. Not only to the season collector, but just to a widow has their collection from their husband or their son or somebody, and well, I want to get this stuff authenticated. I've got the money. I want to make sure that my return. They had always talked about it. Whatever the case may be, when they come to that path, it's like you don't want to sit there and fuck around and go the wrong way. And but there again, it's transparency. That just people want to do it, but a lot of times they want to do it to the amount that they feel comfortable with, or that'll benefit them. And that's usually not 100% transparency. So, because instead of somebody coming out saying, hey, we just realized X, Y, and Z, somebody showed on Twitter, somebody showed on TikTok, somebody showed on Instagram, Facebook, wherever the case may be, blowout, there's a forum or there's a post on one of the forums about these things being graded, and they're either fake or they've been misgraded. This is what happened. This is, to the best of our knowledge, the person that graded them is no longer with us. They had a vested interest in like the grades being quality. They had a vested interest in those things being authentic when they clearly weren't. Whatever the case may be, you don't see that unless, I mean, it's like a rare time when it's like a $1 million plus collection. You might have somebody come out and say that. If it's Joe Schlub and some other, it's like a Tom Brady, they're like, just turn your back. It's that much easier. You don't have to deal with the PR. You don't have to deal with this or that. You just have to worry about, because the hobby's such a fickle community, their memories.
You think?
this just in. They have such short memories. It's like you don't need to sit there and explain yourself every time, because time again, the memories go away because the next shiny thing catches their attention, the next dramatic case.
Squirrel.
Yeah, basically, the squirrel. That's what it is. And so, as a company, I'd be like, well, if something, I mean, is constantly burning for 2, 3, 4, 5 weeks, I mean, it's all you're getting peppered. It's like, okay, we got to address this, and just for our own good, fucking put a little water on it for now. But most things just go. They come and pass. So, and people go back to them. I mean, we've seen it how many times, the grading. You see it with stupid pricing and grading. People don't care. They're degenerates. They don't care. As long as their card gets the grade that they want, which a lot of times it doesn't, but they're willing to pay. It's a lottery. It's almost like a reverse lottery if their stuff doesn't come back the way they want. So that blind faith has been instilled in them since the beginning, because you're doing it with opening packs. I had blind faith that I'm going to get, there's odds in the back of the box. It says 1 in 24, and I got 36 packs. I should probably get one card of that specific insert, parallel, whatever the case may be. And then when you don't, well, that might you'll come up with the excuses. So that blind faith just constantly leads to more and more questionable decisions, card wise.
Yep. 100%. And on that note, even though we didn't technically talk too much about where we were, not that we were prepared for that conversation technically, but you had to make a quick change. We covered a lot. Covered a lot.
And Panini isn't even making football cards anymore. But
Technically, they're still making football cards.
well, yeah. Potato, whatever. As long as
The only thing
keeps cranking them out, we're good to go.
This is the only thing I'm going to say about all that, because it's been beaten like a dead horse. Nobody knows exactly what it means. Nobody. Not a single fucking person knows exactly what it means.
Mm-hmm.
There are reasons as to why it came. At some point, I'm sure something will come out. Then again, maybe it won't.
Maybe, who cares?
But at the end of the day, everything that has been talked about, everything that has been conveyed, it's all speculation of what it means and what impacts it's actually going to have. So everybody can talk about hypotheticals all they want. For right now, at least from my perspective, I have no opinion because I don't know what to think. Because, like I said, it's all we know is what has been presented. That's it. So to me, it's not fair to speculate. It's not fair to provide opinions of what I feel like it's going to look like, what it's going to change the dynamic and the layout of future products, because it's hard to know. So I'm going to leave it at that.
Yeah, if we don't know what the hell the plan is for the future, we can't sit there and say whether it's good, bad, or indifferent.
He literally took the fucking knee out.
It wasn't Vinny, but man, I thought I heard some of that colorful language kids are talking with these days. No, that it anybody that's speculating on the shit, that literally is just for content. So like Carlos's like little brief video. Here's what we know. Done.
Yeah, that was sufficient.
That a 5-minute, whatever it was, 6-minute video. And it's like that's what I enjoy. I don't need to have some sort of fictitious round table, hypotheticals. What would happen if who fucking cares? What if the sun came to the earth and fucking burned us all? Who fucking cares? Just keep those things up near the Arctic Circle, not you, Paul. The Bering Strait, maybe.
But in any time something like this happens, it's like it makes its rounds and then it's freaking beaten into the ground.
We've seen it every time.
And just for the record, I'm still the first one who said that Fanatics was going to acquire Topps. Just thought I'd throw that out there. Still one of my proud moments.
Hang your hat on. Whatever.
You are the Oracle, after all. You should know.
Foul mouth.
Hey, those are proud moments, though, when us degenerates can, actually like be right about something, because we're never given any credit for any sort of creativity or topic discussions or anything else. So
why would we be? That's like saying we can delineate from our PC to our inventory.
Well, I could technically do that because I used to do it.
And autographed hockey cards, those are not things that people care about.
Well, I don't.
Well, you're the Oracle. You've got them all, so it doesn't matter. I mean, you're.
No, I do not.
Hey, the family show.
What the fuck does that have anything to do with it?
I'm glad that the talking heads of the world that also float on occasion can make these decisions about the whole freaking hobbysphere for hockey cards that just say they don't care. Is there a poll? Do we have data behind this? Is this
there's a poll, all right?
No, that would require hashtag scholarship, which most people don't have.
Well,
which is why I'm not offering an opinion on anything related to the news that's been released.
well, we've got all the hobby ombudsmen.
Digging deep in the nomenclature, courtesy of Cardboard Underground.
They're on their pulpit, almost like a soapbox, you could say, giving their information, and the information they're spreading is nothing but second-rate gibberish. So
In a lot of sense.
It's hard to warrant blind faith. Title, artist.
Anyways,
they go down to Uncle Tom's cabin. Then they end up in the wishing well.
excuse me. I just personally, I felt like at least something needed to be briefly said, and I felt like I was speaking for all of us, anyways, because we kind of touched on it
Yeah.
briefly in the pre-show. But that's about the extent of it, and it probably won't come up again until more information comes out as it pertains to exactly what it means.
Yeah.
It's at least from mine and Dave's perspective, from a football card perspective, it could mean a lot of things, but what that is, we don't know.
No, if it means Topps is coming back, great. If it doesn't, great. We don't know. Right now, we don't care because we'll just wait like a normal person would on the sideline, and okay, when that information crosses that particular finish line, we will then make a judgment. And
Because as of right now, it doesn't impact the way I collect. So honestly, I don't care. Right now, I don't care.
No.
Because what it is doesn't tell me one way or the other that I'm going to get my Topps Chrome football that much sooner.
Mhm.
Because it's only one half of the needed licenses in order to create said product.
Mhm.
Because this is not a dog on anybody. For those that enjoy collecting non-licensed product, more power to you. More power to you. I don't like them. I don't like them. That's me. That's my personal opinion on the products that are non-licensed. I don't like them. I don't like Leaf. I don't like Panini doing baseball. I'm not a baseball collector, so technically it doesn't bother me.
No, you are not baseball collector.
No, I am not. I am not a baseball collector.
Have you burned any cards lately? Can you confirm?
Yes, I have.
On video and then took the video down.
No, not on video. But but it's like I said, the way that it is now, it would be unlicensed. So to me, it doesn't change anything for me. So right now I don't care. It's not going to change how I collect as of right now. So for shops, for those people in the business world, I could see some concerns, but even then, they still don't know what that means either until something comes out in more detail. So with that, wrap us up, Dave.
Thank you for Michael joining us earlier. Thanks for everybody in the chat again. some point, we'll have a couple rehashes the last 2 weeks of promised topics, and then not so much. Ryan and Neil completely spaced last week. They messaged me the next day apologizing, and I said, hey, you guys are busier than shit. I get it. Because again, they had the shop. I know they're both preparing for vacations. I think Neil today or tomorrow. And their fantasy football draft was, if you listen to their podcast at all, that's a big fucking deal for them. This thing's been going on for years, and they have their stuff coming up. And again, you just, when you got families and you got everything going on, we've set up many a time. Cards is a ton of this shit. We got all the other aspects of life going on. Sometimes you forget. So sometime in September, we'll get them on, and hopefully do the FOMO as well, just because it's something that when you watch all the playbacks, all the videos, you see the get-togethers, the hangouts, people in hotel rooms just chilling, chatting. Steve likes to say cutting it up, kidding around. You do have a sense of FOMO because it's like, fuck, that looks fun. Some of these people maybe I might not be the best of friends with, but it's still everybody's having a decent time. It's like that, you're like, most people, even me, don't mind that once in a while. So you can get a few days of that in, you're good. So we'll get that eventually, and hopefully some of the folks that are that have been contacted, and get them on, get them chatting, more discussions, not only about the FOMO but everything else. So thank you all for commenting. Always helps us. Keeps the line moving, as the kids say.
Thanks to Vinny for actually talking.
Yeah, it was a good day to talk.
I had some chatter there. Later, Jeff.
All right, Jeff.
So yeah, just enjoy what you're picking up, because I know we're picking up all our guys, and we didn't show a ton, especially goal wise. I don't even know. I know I didn't. I just said I wanted to pick up specific amounts. I wanted to get 5 of the top 25 maybe for Broder, pick up the low number Josh Johnsons, and pick up. I mean, there's no, like, I want to get 18% more than I had. I don't give a fuck. I mean, I just pick up the stuff I've been picking up for 20 years. Pick up the stuff I wanted to pick up for 35 years. I mean, there's still a ton of sets that I want to do that I don't say anything about, that I really want to pick up and do. At some point, those will get completed. But yeah, we're picking up what we pick up. You see it. It'll keep Instagram. You might see it during the show. You'll see it. So that's where we're at. I hastily put together placeholder.
A lot of organization this year, and that's worth its weight in gold. With having a checklist, it's almost, I think I got a good bit of stuff on there, except a little bit of upper deck stuff that's obscure. Mm-hmm. Makes things night and day when you can go and say, I'm going to look at and see if I have all the cards for Quest for the Cup today. And I didn't have one. I didn't have the jersey card. And I put a $5 bid on one, and Bada bing, it's on its way. I haven't seen one in 3 years and finally got one. Those are the kind of wins and goals we should have. Who cares? If I win it, I win it, whatever. But it was nice to check it off the list. And no, I don't have 7 of them.
Yeah.
I wasn't going to ask. I can tell you 80% of what I picked up so far this year has fallen into my red box of collecting years. I've only picked up a few outside of my collecting window or focus. And I know I mentioned that I would love to complete all cards I need for 95.
Mm-hmm.
But that was a stretch goal because a lot of them I haven't seen them. And yes, I've looked outside of eBay. I've looked at ComC. I've looked at Beckett, and some of them that I've stumbled across, I'm not paying the prices for because it's like a $2 card. Why am I going to pay $7, $8, $9? I'm not doing it. So I scratched one off the 95 list. That was at least something. One that had eluded me forever was the expansion update from the card game.
Yep. It wasn't playoff. That was hockey. Hockey had the playoff one.
Yeah, I can't remember. I can't remember exactly what it is, but you know which card I'm talking about.
I can see it.
So I scratched one off the list, which was saying something. The collection that I acquired, that scratched off like 2 or 3. So it's making progress. There's still the one big card that I don't want to pay the money that people are asking for. But a lot of the other ones, I'm not finding them. So like I said, that was a stretch goal anyways. But outside of that, I said I'm trying to focus within my main collecting years and then actually condensing it down to more 90s, early 2000s stuff, which I've done quite well, which is why I said the bulk of what I picked up, 80% falls inside of, 95 to 2015.
Mm-hmm.
So, but I didn't go as drastic as what I did. And I think I said I wanted to hit 2,600 because I'm just under that, I think. Actually, let me check, and then we can actually fully close this down or wrap it up.
I won a card for you the other night for 99 cents shipped. I go on the checklist today. There's a list of from that year and that brand, there's 24 cards. The one that you have is the one that I won. I just took a shot in the dark because I thought it was a cool card. But there was another card I found cheap, nothing spectacular, but when you see it at Christmas time, it's going to get you right in the feels.
Yes, I know you already told me that via text.
It's a deep card. I was tickled pink when I found it. It's a good one.
So I've at least surpassed the 2,600 unique. So
Okay.
there you go. 2602 is what I'm at.
So you're 500 roughly ahead of me. I'm at 2108.
And I only reached the 2,600 mark is because I happened to stumble across a couple other cards that I didn't actually have marked off on my checklist that I stumbled across. That's the advantages. Yeah.
Vinny knows that one.
Yeah. Dave.
No, that's just the one card. One card.
Oh, okay. Well, this is just one card. And Vinny knows what this is too.
It's a good. Gotta go.
Here's a Gabagool.
Thank you.
And I got a 99 center that came in today too for Steve. It was very, very sadly listed. So
Well, those always help. Sadly, I don't do as many searches as what I once did. So there's a lot of things that I have a tendency to miss, which
it's good.
I-
Because then I can get him, or Vinny can get him, and
well, it's not even that. It's I don't want to say the passion has left. It's just it's one of those in which I'm more focused on trying to take care of Christmas shit than I am for me right now. Because like I said, like you're done. But you know, Vinny still has some work. Bob still has some work. Somebody else that I'm not going to mention. I need to do some work on.
Jeff Wilson.
No.
I was talking to the underground the other day about how I said, you got to make sure the package feels right when it's done. And him and I have had this conversation several times. And I told him straight up, I said, you're not getting anything for Christmas. And, you know, him being who he is, he's like, good, schedule it in for 2027. And I'm like, hold your horses there. But
Yeah.
I said, I want to be able to send something. And there's a couple people that I'm we're 9 months, we're 8 months in. We're down to basically through November to get everything you want to get in, whether it's ComC or everything. And you're like, you know what? I'd rather have Christmas in January or Christmas in February for some of the people just to make sure it's right. And the cool thing about the group that we exchange with, they're down with that and they don't care. Same thing with me, whatever. Pencil me in for 2045 for all I care.
Nope.
It doesn't matter. But it's the point of it being is you want to, when you send these packages, it's not like, I appreciate you, bro. No, it's, I really thought this out from the top to the bottom to try to figure out what exactly to send. And it necessitates work because you want to get that person in the fields. It's the bottom line.
Necessitates work on two levels, that and to afford the cards.
This is true.
Stuff like, I really want to get it, but it's going to take me not buying anything, which I can do that. I've gotten a lot better with that. Especially if it's something that's like, oh fuck, okay, now that's something I've got to try to go after, and especially if it's going to be in the price range where is feasible for. Again, if I won the Mega Millions, that'd be one thing.
Like that. That's a card I definitely need. That's the die cut to 66, but I'm not paying that because that could buy a lot of things from soccer stuff to whatever. It's just, it's not feasible at this current juncture to drop $240 on a card. It's just, is that card probably worth it number to 66 and how rare it is? It's pushing that. But look what I had to do to get the blue, you know. Look what I tried to do to get the EX, and it still went $70 above what I think. And I had full better half permission to go, and I didn't sniff it. But guess what? One day it's going to pop up like the one EX to, what was it, 7. And the next day the Lemieux collector on Instagram. He's like, "Did anybody see this last night? Buy it now for $200. The essential credentials numbered to what I think it's like 7 for Lemieux. Buy it now, $200. Contact me. I will pay triple that price." Everything will come in time. It's a marathon, not a sprint or whatever they call it. It's somewhere in between. You have to not smell the roses for yourself. It's kind of cool to give roses out every once in a while. Gabagool. You get more enjoyment out of searching for other people than you do your own stuff, because you know what you want. But tracking down something weird and obscure, like that card, I've said it 4 times already today. That card I found, Steve, and it wasn't, like I said, it didn't break the bank. It didn't even, you could buy a hot and ready for, I think, for more from Little Caesars. But it's that card. When I saw it, I'm like, holy crap. I know he doesn't have this. I don't think he even knows it exists. This is like, I was tickled pink. It's just, I can't wait for you to see that card at Christmas. There's going to be a bunch of other junk in there, but that card, I'm probably more excited over that particular card than anything I got you, because I know the significance of what you're going to say when you see the card, and you're going to be like, I love that, because it's that particular thing with Terrell Davis. But I digress. And I talked a lot tonight, so.
Just good.
Thank you, Ghost. I know you put the Zoom call on hold for me, so no interruptions. Bless your heart, my dog, in the good non-Southern bless your heart type of way. And my other 2 weren't too rambunctious today.
Which is always a plus.
Yes, bless their heart as well in the non-Southern way.
And to your point, and then we'll finish it up. When you say it's fun to look for others, A, it's that, but B, it's also, I don't look up at you all the time. So, I mean, if I go a couple times a month, Terrell Davis, if I look him up a couple times a month, I know there's other players. I know that. I want to look them, but I'm like, I want to stick to the people I know that you guys treasure.
Yeah.
So I go that route, and it's like I find stuff then like crap, that's a cool ass card. That's a cool thing. I'm like, then you start loading up the watch list, and the watch list says, "Hey, I'm full now. You have to delete some stuff." Then I go through and delete about 40 auctions or whatever. I'm like, this ain't something I'm gonna even look at. So if I've had it on there forever and a day and nothing's dropped, then I start dropping them. But yeah, if I can move some stuff, there's some, as the kids say, bangers that I need to acquire that are just gonna leave folks in shock and awe, because that's what I like doing.
And
even though people say don't do it, you don't need to. I say that those words don't mean a thing to me.
Same thing for us, because you always say don't. So
yeah, you're speaking in British. I don't know.
They go in one ear out the other.
Yeah. Just like the fuck you, Daves. That's one ear out the other. You say that, you get a gabagool.
And the thing about us, when it comes to non-TD, Josh Johnson, Brodeur, Lemieux, what have you, us being so close, the other stuff that we collect. Dave, it's freaking easy as hell. I'm sorry, you're a what is it called? As we say at work, a target-rich environment. Steve is less of a target-rich environment, but I always figure out stuff, and Dan and I have these conversations about certain things.
Mhm.
And we kind of write them down, and we're like, yeah, just remember that for sometime in the future. And I collect like Stamkos, and if you didn't know now, I collect Tyler Bertuzzi because I think he's freaking good, and he was my Red Wing. Now I got to figure out who's going to be. I got to pick another Red Wing now because I don't have one. I kind of like to focus on one dude because they're not. I always like to pick one of them. So figure out which one I want. And now he's gone. So maybe I'll pick a goalie with a cool setup. I don't know. Tybo on it, Dave. Tybo on it.
So for Vinny, for Steve, Dave, this has been the Instant Revolution podcast. Remember, collecting cards, absolutely wonderful hobby. Friendships you forge in this hobby, that's what really matters. Good night, everyone.
Good night, everybody.